I had to record an ad while I still had the stash. You know, that's why our advertisers pay the big dollars. Our first one, of course, Squaring Around is proud to be brought to you by Elite Sports. It's the only apparel company that's got our official podcast gear. If you want to support the show, buy a hat, buy a sweater, buy a jacket, buy a baby's onesie. We got it all. EliteSports.com. Use code SQUARE at checkout. Squaring Around is also proud to be brought to you by Homefield Apparel. Homefield is your one-stop shop to get every team in the entire universe of college athletics. Not Texas State yet, but I promise I've been sending these off-season emails. What have you guys been doing to get this partnership off the ground? Hey, I'll take the money where I can get it. Homefield.com. Use code SQUARE at checkout. Buy a friend a gift. Buy something to something. Hey.
Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Squaring Around. I'm Jacob Rodriguez. My humble and happy and now 28. Are you old man Zim now, Zim?
Old man Zim, bro. We're cutting.
God.
We're running towards that big 3-0.
Sheesh. Does it feel different to be 28 than 27?
Yeah, the bald spot in the back of my head this morning woke me up. That's the only difference.
Really?
We were arguing today if baldness could be cured. I was like, it would have already been cured. This is a whole industry plotting on bald men. Let's be honest here.
I don't know, man. I would just stop going bald.
Oh, thanks, Caleb. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you ever think about that?
Oh, you know what? I never thought of it. Thank you for putting me on. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, because I just never thought about it, and I'm not going bald. So.
I asked to have you on, by the way, Caleb. Just FYI, I was like, we need to get this guy on. He's covering Texas State for the Austin American-Statesman now. Like, I'm excited to have him. What is this? You just immediately attack me? What is going on here? Every room I'm in is 2v1, brother. What is happening?
I'm just giving you a tip. I thought it was being helpful. It's worked for me.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to come. I'll remember this. This is literally the start of the pod, by the way. We got like another 45 minutes together.
I know. I didn't even get to intro. You want to intro him now, Zim?
Crazy.
You go ahead and intro him, buddy.
No, we don't have a guest this week. We just have a peanut gallery member who joined in on the Zoom call. What is this? This is crazy.
Everybody, this is our new friend, Caleb, from the Austin American-Statesman. He's Texas State's newest beat writer. Caleb, you've been at fall camp. The last time I saw you was 2 weeks ago? So now you've had 3-ish weeks of seeing these guys live and in person. You've gotten to see them way more than I have, just because I've had so many things happening this weekend. And we didn't even have a Saturday last Saturday. What was that about?
No.
Well, you had a Saturday. The rest of us, we're trying to keep up with Texas State.
Oh, yeah. No, I did have a Saturday. I was out chasing.
What did you do?
Bro.
He's chasing mermaids, brother. Let's be honest. Let's call it spade a spade here. Jakey is the seaman who is looking for the new world. He's looking for that new Texas State season, and he's having the sirens in his ear. He's got all these mermaids talking to him, being like, Jacob, come off course, come off course. Turns out they're manatees, brother. Captain Jakey's chasing manatees, all right? So, all right, no Saturday practice this past week, but the last 2 weeks you had something. Caleb, what have you seen so far?
Not much, because the practice windows have honestly been pretty small. But this past practice last Wednesday, it was actually this past Wednesday, yeah. It was actually pretty informative. They let us stick around, let us see the offense run against the defense. And they looked good. They looked good. Brad has been pretty solid. I think he's running with the maybe ones, probably ones, allegedly ones. And he's spinning the ball well. I just remember watching him throw just this out route and being like, oh, that has some zip on it. But it was an incompletion. And I was just like, oh, well, I mean, it still has some zip on it. But I was really interested in how the linebacker room was going to play out, because I've just been really I don't know who's going to start. They had a lot of transfers. and looked like Michael Boudin. Don't know how to say his last name. Do
Oh,
y'all
Budin?
remember?
Yeah.
Boudin, yeah. Michael Boudin, I thought I saw him taking some reps with the ones the last week, but after practice, Kenny was saying that Aiden Jones actually had a really good scrimmage last Saturday, and that he was kind of showing off. So I was like, oh, okay. So still don't really know much. I think Traylon Payne's pretty locked in as like a contributor. Um, and otherwise, like I heard a little bit of buzz about Taji Hopkins, and I was like, Taji? I thought because Andrea, you're a Greg Burrell guy too, right?
Yes, I am very much so.
He's a Greg Burrell
Yeah, I
guy
thought.
and also Lincoln Perry's biggest op to date.
No, I'm the biggest fan. I'm the only person that everybody's. Let me say this: I don't call Lincoln Perry out for being a sponsorship hound. I don't think anybody cares about what he's doing in practice. So I have boosted him up once again. You're welcome, Lincoln Perry.
You're his marketing manager in a way.
Honestly, he hasn't said anything about me. He slid into the end zone. A lot of people are saying like that was an FU to me. If it was, I'll take it.
Come on!
He did
I
say the
want
F
it.
word to you.
He did say the F word. Yeah, and
I
I
want
think
to
I could
see.
see
Yeah.
like the ghost of Andrew Zimmel like right next to him when he said "F out of here," and I was just like, "Oh, that
Hey,
Andrew?
listen.
Is
Oh,
that
oh
your
no, that's
clip, Caleb? That was your clip,
yeah,
right?
that was my clip. Yeah,
There you go.
Shout out to Caleb. Let me say, he's going to be one of the best running backs in the Sun Belt Conference and one of the best running back rooms in the Sun Belt. And it's going to be running back 3. So that just goes to show the depth of this team.
I think week one he still gets the nod, and then they're just gonna feed whoever's hot.
Okay.
yeah. I kind of agree with that. You got to give him the nod in week one. He's the guy. He's been there for so long. But I'm like the reason I was so interested in Burrell was just because like, you look at that roster, that running back room, there are a lot of small, fast guys, and he's like the only like 6'1". He's like 200, probably has some room to put on some more muscle. I wonder if he's going to be more of their bruiser, like just run him up the middle and just keep churning like that. So I'm really curious to see what he does this year. I think he's going to be really good.
Like I said, it's going to be one of the best running back rooms. If Lincoln Perry does get the nod in week 1 to be running back 1, that does not disprove my point. I've consistently said we have a 1,000-yard rusher on this roster and probably 2 700-ish yards rushers on this roster. Lincoln Perry probably runs for 700 yards this year. So I feel pretty confident. I feel okay.
A lot of these
Yeah,
guys for
same.
me are still just like names and numbers on the roster until like I actually like see what they do. Until they actually go on the field has been my entire way I've covered this team. It's like you're not a Bobcat until you take a snap. You're not a Bobcat until you play a game. You're not a Bobcat maybe until right now, actually, until it's too late
Until
to go to
Caleb
another
pronounces
school.
your name correctly.
Something else I saw, well, I already reported on this on Twitter, is that Jaden Lawton is on campus now, and he was at
Oh.
practice Wednesday. He's a JUCO transfer, and he had like offers from Auburn, Arkansas, Florida, like real deal SEC schools. Kenny was just saying that he had like, some JUCO stuff he had to figure out. I think something with grades and all that, and transferring credits over. So he's like pretty late addition, and it sounds like he's not exactly sure when he's actually going to be able to play. But regardless, they seem pretty confident in the cornerback room.
We've dealt with this before, guys thinking like, oh, I don't know when I'm going to play. And then we ended up with Ben Bell not playing like a snap last year. So I'm a little concerned about that, to be completely honest with you guys.
Yeah, what's your favorite like Texas State headline from last year, Caleb? Like, outside looking in, you took this job, I guess like a month ago, maybe like a month and a
Mhm.
half ago. So when you
Yeah.
look at the team from last year to this year, now boots on the ground, like what are your first like expectations, impressions, all that?
Hmm. Well, I mean, the first time I ever heard like a big headline about Texas State was whenever they beat Baylor,
Mm.
like in 23. And I was just like, oh wow. Because like always knew they were built down, but like to be completely honest, I grew up in Dallas, so I was always a big pro sports fan, unfortunately, because and Cowboys and all that and Mavericks. It's been a pretty bad like
Good.
summer for me on that end.
Good.
Yeah,
Dude, me and
thanks.
Caleb, ABGs, Dallas
That's
Cowboys.
wild. That's crazy.
Um, but
Shout
like
out.
yeah,
Shout
so
out.
shout out. So like that was like the first time I kind of heard about them, and then over like the past year or so, it's just been a lot of like momentum. I saw whenever they nearly beat Arizona State, I was like, oh wow, okay, they're coming up. And then, the bowl game where they beat my alma mater, that didn't make me very happy. I was just like, oh man, like dang, are they like legit? And so for me, I always kind of saw Texas State as like, wow, they have like a really like good fan base. Like San Marcos is nice. They have Don's Japanese Kitchen because
Shout out.
and so I was always like vaguely interested in them, and I've always really wanted to like own a beat because I still the last time I was a beat writer was when I was at UNT in college. I've been doing a lot of general stuff for the past few years, and I guess like my first impression was just like, oh my gosh, like people really care about this team. And that made me really happy
For better or
because
worse.
for better or worse, because helping cover UT for the past few years, like there's a lot of beat writers. I know I love them all. Like my guy Eric, Danny, Dave, like all my coworkers at Statesman, Corey. Like there's a lot of people there, but that also means that like it's just really saturated. And just like being here and seeing like, how much like the town cares about that team is really, really nice. It's really nice to see. And just seeing the energy from like, just winning like two bowl games in a row, that was just really fun. It seems like the program's on the come up, and I was really excited to just be a part of it.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. You start a podcast, you'd have the third most popular podcast from the jump. That helps. And then, you just got to keep climbing. Maybe you'll get to where Squaring Around is. Who knows?
I doubt it.
But you could. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah, we'll see. No, I don't know, man. I
You
just
like
like
that one, Jacob? Jacob's laughing his ass off over there.
I don't think I could though.
I didn't know where
just
you
don't
were
think I
going
could.
with that. Like at first it was like a very backhanded like welcome to the show. And then you flipped it completely and you were like all hell squaring around. I
I
thought it was funny.
mean,
All hail squaring around though.
all
All
hell
hail
square it
squaring
out,
around
bro.
though.
Like, I mean, come on.
Ain't nothing wrong with hailing squaring around.
AHSA.
Jacob hails a lot. So to say for Jacob to be like all
The
hail squaring
moon.
around, that's huge. Because he's usually throwing up that salute for somebody else. So I'm here for it. This is great.
Taylor
This is,
Swift. Yeah.
this is the first time Jacob's been team
As you should.
swearing in a while. God, that's funny. Dude, this is, you go down the Jacob Rodriguez rundown. First impression of Texas State, meeting people and knowing things.
So Caleb, going on campus, meeting people, who have you got to interact with? What are some of those like first day of school vibes?
You know, that great question because the day that Texas State got invited to Pac-12, my editor, he was like, "Hey man, this was before I actually got onto the beat." He was like, "Hey, can you drive down to San Marcos and just catch the vibe of the campus and
How
see
long of a
like what's
drive was
going
it?
on?" It was actually pretty long. It was the middle of the day. It was like 50 minutes.
Oh, wow. This guy drove
It's
50
it's
minutes from
crazy.
Austin to San Marcos. Oh, hold
It's
on.
crazy. That's almost a whole hour. That's a lot. There's
You
only
could have
24
listened.
hours in a day.
You could have listened to Swearing Around, and you would have been able to get it pretty much from door to door.
No,
Just FYI.
I think I actually did. Like, I actually legitimately did because I was just like, I need to know more about this team. I'm gonna Texas State podcast. Oh, okay, yeah.
And then we
I
start
love
talking
it.
about Heat for 30 minutes. And you're like, well, I've known
I
nothing. I know even less about this team now.
I think I listened to the one with you and Carter. You guys and Carter.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Shout out. That was just me and Carter.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Those are the good
No.
episodes when it's just me and I have a nice little rundown to myself and nobody butts in and questions
Yeah,
the.
it's just a completely normal rundown. But
Yeah. No,
anyways,
We're
yeah.
gonna take a
it's typical radio or TV talent. Like they have no idea like what post production is, and I'm just gonna lose all the bad parts and keep all the good things.
You gotta chop that crap up.
Exactly. You know?
Caleb, are you going to take your shirt off on this podcast or not? Let's just cut to the chase here.
Let's go!
Well, all right. Probably not. I'm not going to be honest with you, man. I need to start an OF. I was not going to do that, but I'm not.
So did you have like a
Uh,
welcome to Texas State moment in capturing that like vibe of campus?
completely honest with you, dude, there was nobody on campus that day.
I'm
It was
sure.
honestly a little
It
silly
was.
that I went because it's the middle of the summer. Why would anyone
Yeah,
be on
that's fair.
campus?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
what
I
was your
got-
editor doing? Just wasting your time?
Actually, though, I did run into Josh Blakely completely accidentally on campus. He was on a recruiting trip, and I ran into Josh Blakely, and like we chatted it up, and we kind of talked about like how the Pac-12 was like going to be impacted, yada yada. And that was interesting. That was my first interaction with any like Texas State coach, and it was just because I was walking around campus, and poof, there it was. But other than that, just been meeting guys, meeting Jacob, Kev, Zach, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then I met some of the play-by-play guys the other day, and some of the alumni. And honestly, it was very strange whenever I was at practice the other day and Kenny just came up and talked to me and Kev for like 5 minutes. Because whenever I would go to UT practices, like Sark would never do that. He'd just be cussing out his players. So that was really cool.
So what was your original take on Kenny? You've got to meet him a couple times. You've done a couple press conferences. What's the takeaway?
He's really, really chill guy, really cool guy. Seems like pretty authentic, and practice was like I think at the THSCA he seemed just really like friendly because Greg Luca, the guy who covers CTSA for the Express News, he introduced me to Kenny, and he was just really nice. We got talking about his shirt. He was like, "Yes, new shirt, I got it." Fresh in, and everyone was like complimenting it. It was really cool. You know, Thark is a little intense sometimes whenever we were talking to him, and Kenny gave off a little bit more of like a, friendly vibe, and I enjoyed that.
No, that's nice. I'm glad that
Yeah.
Kenny he seems like a pretty chill guy. I mean, in the conversations we've had with him, he did I think the first interviews with the media from a truck. I want to say, is that right, Jacob?
That was for National Signing Day. Yeah, he was in his
Yeah.
brand new like Lariat or something. It was pretty sick.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's the type of, and then we always talk to him about playing video games because he's like a video game manager, which is kind of cool.
Dang.
Yeah.
I just
so,
feel
I mean,
like
he's a
now,
laid back guy.
especially in year 3, like when I ask him something, like I know I'm only getting like a little bit of what I want to get, Like it takes me like asking him about The Sopranos or about The Bear to like get the real vibe of the question that I wanted, which is usually never personnel related. Like he's never going to talk to me about that or like injuries or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's mostly a vibe check
Yeah.
anytime I give like a what's up.
hmm
But I think me and
He
Tanner
does.
Hunt, the new special teams coordinator, me and him have a special connect, I think.
Yeah. He seemed like a pretty cool guy. I said hi to him the other day, and I was just like, hey, good thing. Good thing. I just, people say hi to me, and I'm just like, okay, I like you now. That's it.
I like it.
But
Yeah, shout out. Actually, I have a
Yeah.
Jake Spavital story, and this is like the most like
Oh
welcome to
yeah.
Texas State moment. Like this is back when I was at the University Star, like I think the summer after I was the sports editor. So this is Spav's second year, and I was at Sewell Park with a girl. Things were going okay, but it's whatever. It's just a river day. I had a girl there with a
hmm
bunch of friends there too. We're just
What
hanging
a
out.
flex.
What
What
a
a
flex.
flex.
And Jake Spavital walks by like out of Strand, and he's walking down the river. He's trying to like just like walk through the shaded parts. It's middle of the day, it's hot, and we're walking back up, so we're all in the shade. And he sees me. He didn't have to say hi, but I just kind of like went like that, and he goes, "What's up, Jake?" Instant street cred. Turned the whole day around. We went to Chimmy's after. Turned into a great night. But Jake Spavital, shout out. Yeah, I feel like the coaches all the time do that too. They big up me before.
The clip
Biggest-
on this is going to
huge
say
wingman.
Spavital got Jacob laid ? That's going to be the social clip that pulls from this.
Spavital
You
got
never know.
Jacob
Maybe he
Lade?
did. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't.
Yeah, you never know. That could have been the reason.
Did he do
Hmm.
that or did I do that? Like, who put in more work for that to happen?
Jake Spavital, in conjunction with Jacob Rodriguez's Riz game, ended up getting Jacob late. Let's talk about it. I mean, it's a good
Yeah,
combo
like
to have.
what's the split on that? I think that's like
60-40.
If I had
60.
a
No, no,
post
no. I'll
game,
give him
if I had a
70
post game
30.
press conference afterwards, I would definitely have to give him credit. But like, at the end of the day, players make moves.
A players play, coaches coach.
Exactly.
Huh?
Players gotta execute. You gotta
Yeah.
execute.
Gotta
And no
execute.
coach speak, classic coach speak. You gotta execute.
What's your favorite
Yeah.
coach speak line this time of year, especially because this is like fall camp vibes. Everybody is like pie in the sky right now.
You know, my favorite, just like, oh yeah, we just gotta be physical. You gotta execute. Blah 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 blah, stuff like that. Oh, everyone's doing great. Like we don't really know who's standing out. Everyone's, it's different standout every day. Just like some being really general about who's actually playing well. Like they've been doing that for the past like 2 weeks. Like, oh, just different standouts everywhere. This guy and this guy. It's like, oh, we're all doing great. Physical practice, real physical.
My favorite one this year is whenever coaches, and both GJ and Jeff Traylor have done this both at separate times this like fall camp season, have been like, this is the best day of fall camp practice ever. And it just, everybody just takes it like bait every single time. Like, oh my God, what was so different about today? Blah, 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 blah. It feels like you're dating like a toxic girl that is like, it's finally giving you the green light. And then you just fall into it every time, you know?
Yeah, she's like, oh, I really think today was good. I had such a good day with you today.
Yeah. I had such a great
And
time
then
with
you
you.
get ghosted.
My
Yeah.
favorite is the we're getting better every day. Like that's my favorite coach speak during
Oh,
camp is we're getting better every day. Love that.
yeah, because what else are you supposed to say? We took a step back today. You know, they kind of sucked.
Yeah, I
Not
want
gonna
to
lie.
zag like Kenny Dillingham's been doing. Been like, these guys suck. I think if they're happy with 7-5, that's good enough.
I would love that. I would love that. I would love for a coach to just be like, actually, practice kind of
I really
is
want
fine.
I really want GJ and Kenny Dillingham to have like a long-standing rivalry. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I feel like maybe it could, you know?
Something really bad have to happen to Arizona State. I'm gonna put that out there right now.
Yo, maybe that's my trip. I've been fantasizing about going to Vegas, but maybe just save up for the Tempe trip. You know?
Oh, there you go. I thought you just were talking about instead of going to Vegas, just going to Tempe. I was like, I mean, shout out to you, man. It's
No.
120
I'm
degrees,
gonna
but
wait till Texas State gives me a reason to go party over there.
Fair, fair. I don't know. That game seems tough.
Yeah. I don't know.
They got Levitt, they got Tyson, Jordan Tyson.
Well, this
That combo
this
is gonna
goes
be
right
pretty tough.
into
But
what I'm talking about, right? So like
yeah.
this time of the year, usually Squaring Around will get tagged in everybody and their mothers like tweets about Texas State. Things we have no business talking about, things we've already talked about. And the latest thing is like the win-loss total. Some random Jamoke online tagged us in this thing that was like, is Texas State the favorite to win the SBC West? Knowing what you know about the team right now, what is your like 1,000-foot view of the season?
Hmm. I think, earlier when you said that, no one's a Bobcat until like they step on the field, it's really tough to really predict where they are. Like I remember just like, initially like getting to know the roster and just being like, I have no idea who is actually good. Like it's so hard to tell because like, all the transfers, there's a lot of unproven second year players. Like the quarterback situation is a battle. Um, but I think like trusting Kenny is kind of what I am thinking. I think winning the Sun Belt would be pretty tough. You got to give a lot of respect to James Madison in Louisiana, I
wow.
think. But I think it is possible, like lightly, and the path to winning the Sun Belt would be like Brad Jackson if he starts, because he's not officially the starter. If he starts, is like fantastic right away. Like they have this kind of like dual threat, like running thing going on where the running back room complements the quarterback complements the running back room, and the offense is just like crazy good. And like the defense is like, good enough. Like Dexter McCoyle in his second year, like I've been doing a lot of like offensive things, but like they took a step up from 23 to 24, and keeping that consistent 24 to 25 would be like projects to be difficult. But if you can stay like in middle of the pack and like you got the quarterback, I think they could be like 8-4, but more realistically like 7-5 probably.
And then we find ourselves year 3 of the First Responders Bowl. Who's ready, everybody?
Yeah, so this is where I'm going to zag, like not zag, because I agree with a lot of what Caleb is saying here. But what I'm concerned about is 7-5, 3 years in a row. At that point, even if it does not appear statistically to be a plateau, a lot of people are going to say, well, can you get over the hump? Can you get to 10 wins? And then you go to a new conference in the Pac-12 that is projected to be more difficult than the Sun Belt. That would make me very concerned about the state of the program. Because if you're a 7-5 coach, I think a lot of places, Texas State 10 years ago would have loved that. But like today, 7-5, 3 years in a row, I think a lot of people would, from the outside in, be like, it's kind of a failure.
Especially
Yeah.
given like the vibes around the program, like I think year to year, Kenny has talked about the engagement of the fan base growing, the engagement of like monetarily, like people around town giving and giving and giving around campus. You go another year 7-5, or like 8-4 or
Well,
whatever it is.
and this is
You're
the
like middling
interesting thing
out.
too. The interesting thing too is how do you go 7-5? Because again, we talk about moral victories. We don't believe in them. But if you're a 7-5 and it's a win against Arizona State at one point, yeah, okay, that's a different type of 7-5. But if it's a 7-5 where you beat everybody you're supposed to beat and lose to an Arizona State, a James Madison, a Louisiana, like then you're in trouble. Like then it's like, okay, you're only as good as the fourth best team in the Sun Belt. Now you're going to the Pac-12 and you're going to be competing against Boise State, Washington State, and Oregon State every other year.
I do
Yeah.
#believe Caleb though, because like to his point, like Kenny's recruiting different dudes. Like these guys are much different than the guys that we were covering in college. All respect to Brian London and Brady McBride and all those guys that we love with all of our hearts. But these guys are much different.
So they're better in your mind?
In my mind, they
I
are.
would, yeah.
But
I would agree with that, yeah.
they're better. And because I don't disagree. I do think that these players are better, but they're 4 wins better, right? Like
that's the thing is that
Yeah.
Kenny was talking about this too, like a couple weeks ago. He was saying how like last year's team compared to this year's team, like really last year they had so many returning players and starters on offense and defense. They really didn't even need fall camp. They could just go out, play the first game if they wanted to. This year,
hmm
it's a lot of unproven players, to Caleb's point, a lot of things that they're missing, a lot of like people that they need to identify both as leaders and performers on this team. And that's like the question mark, really.
I'm gonna drop a take. It'll probably piss off fans, I guess. But like I was reading an athletic article today, Chris Benini, he dropped his like, coaching tier, whatever. And Traylor was above Kenny. Like Traylor was in 4, Kenny was in 5. And at first I was like, oh no, man, like Kenny really is an up and comer. But then like I thought about it a little bit more and I was just like, this is a real like Traylor really he's proven it. He really has proven it. Like he deserves all that credit. And Kenny, like I think the big test for him is like, can he do it without those incarnate Ward guys, right?
Oh,
Like
give me a freaking break.
What
it's
do you
kind
mean?
of
Do you mean the players or Mac Leftwich? Because that's my question: is can they do it without Mac?
yeah, that's kind of like both a little bit, because like he lost a lot of the guys he brought over from Incarnate Ward. Not all of them, of course, and it's like not everything, right? But it's like, he's been recruiting like these guys from the 23-24 class for like this season in particular. Like he knew that this season would be like, okay, all my guys are gone and I need them like to be able to play right now. So I would say even if they do go 7-5, like 8-4, I still think that's kind of a win, like in my mind, because that just proves that like he was able to like sustain the success even with like a bunch of new players going to a new system. And Vibe Check is right though. You do need like at least one or two like good wins. Like maybe you can drop like one bad one against like I don't know Marshall or something,
ODU.
but
But
ODU,
UTSA,
yeah.
unforgivable
But
this season.
you really got to beat UTSA, especially with Brad being from San Antonio. Like he talked about it the other day. He said, "Oh, it doesn't really matter to me. It'll matter."
Well,
It'll
But
be
like
because he
also
only
because
played 1 year at SA
He
Reagan.
only played 1 year in San Antonio, but that narrative is going to be like hovering
how about the
over the
narrative that Owen
clouds.
McCown's a cheater? How about that narrative? Like I feel like that's more important.
It's true. A little bit. Yeah, it's definitely true.
Owen
Honestly,
McCown's
I
out here getting and
Allegedly, it's
giving.
true.
Yeah,
allegedly it's true.
Allegedly, it's true.
dude's out here giving and going and getting and giving plays away, and we're like, oh no, it's fine. Yeah, he's okay. I would do anything to win.
In my head, though, isn't it like the old Texas story where they found that like cheat sheet on the floor at DKR, or you know what I'm talking?
No, the difference is that he wasn't asking for it. They
No, I
weren't going out.
understand. But there's, you know, like, would you believe everything another player gave you? I guess I'm playing devil's advocate, obviously, but
I think
Obviously,
that
I
is
also have
like
like
a
a
fair
records
point.
request
Yeah.
out for this information from UTSA. We'll see if I get it or not. I don't think so.
the worst part of
Yeah.
this is that nothing will come of it. Like
No.
absolutely zero. And it's like that's the only repercussion we will get for UTSA being cheaters is Texas State taking belt to ass. And if they don't, then we're letting these guys go.
And you
That's
know
kind
what?
of how I look at it. There's no
You know what?
justice.
You know what, Andrew? Ball don't lie, buddy.
It's true.
Winners
All
never
top.
winners
Ball don't
never
lie.
something, and cheaters never win. Winners never
Winners
cheat.
Winners
never,
never cheat,
cheaters never
cheaters never win.
prosper. Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
One of the things. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is really a good year for like a prove it from like Kenny's. Like, you've been recruiting, you have this process, like you lost like Leftwich, can you do it with like, a new coordinator, new players? And I think even if they go like eight, I say 8-4, that's massive. That's huge. Like that's a really good win in my eyes
I'm kind of
because
excited for the Keppel era too,
yeah,
specifically. Like,
yeah, I'm interested to see what he does. They talked a lot about like tight ends, maybe like utilizing like more tight ends. I think Blake Smith might be a big part of that. And
been a
yeah,
big Jake
nope,
Simpson guy since we recruited him.
Jake
But
Simpson, yeah.
yeah, I
Can I
mean, we
give a
never we
general?
never even threw to tight ends last year. Ask Connor Fox if he ever got the ball.
Dude,
Can I give a general football take? This is
yeah,
across the board, high school to NFL. If your offensive and head coach come out and say like we're really excited about our tight end play, you're not going to be a good team. And that's I've never heard a good team come out and be like, you know what, we're really excited about our
But
tight ends.
with these splits
Andrew,
that we play,
Andrew,
these wide splits, are you worried about the tight end? Are you worried
Because
about
they're
the
playing like
guy that
slot
could get
receiver at that point.
downfield? Yeah, exactly.
Andrew, 2 weeks ago they talked extensively about how excited they were about the tight end play.
That's what I'm saying, boys. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Well, because
That's a 7-5 conversation.
yes, because this is what I go back to. Before, like when Dan Campbell got to the Detroit Lions, before Ben Johnson turned into Ben Johnson, I vividly remember listening to a press conference and them talking about like, yeah, I know we're excited about our tight ends this year. And I was like, who? Why? What are we doing? And Texas State with Withers did the same thing because they had Gabe Schrade and they had Keaton Brown, and they were like, we're really excited about our two tight end sets. It's like, okay, but like also 3 wins, So I'm concerned. Ring the
Cautiously
bell.
optimistic.
Yeah, but Lions were coming off of like a year, and then like Texas State is coming off a good one. So it's
Uh,
really weird though, because I was looking up like that info for a story, and I saw like in 22, whenever Kenny was at Incarnate Ward, they threw. I think their tight end had like 2 catches the entire season, and I was just like, is this? And like
so
last year, they didn't. They only had like what 18, 19 catches, but it was still an increase from 2023. And I was
another
like, wow.
example, my high school football team in Bandera, Texas, 2-win season that year. Vividly remember in 2 days being like, we're going to use our tight ends a lot.
Oh, my high school football team, the McCall Memorial Mustangs, basically no tight end play. All of our tight ends sucked. That team
Good
was
team.
really good.
Hold
Ground and
on.
pound, run the game.
Hold on. We're getting somewhere. We're
Yeah.
getting somewhere. Connor Fox, clip this. We're getting somewhere.
Connor Fox, I'm your biggest fan, by the way. Come play catch with me.
Caleb, is the defense actually better than the offense? Let me do that again. Caleb, is the defense actually better than the offense at Texas State? Do my brain rot TikTok voice?
That's disgusting. And you
That
look
was
like a wrestler. Why don't you put on a black
was
glove? And I'll put on a black glove too,
that
like
was something.
Jim Bond.
I don't think that I don't think the defense will be better than the offense. The edge rushers look incredible. You got you got Khalil and you got Jaleson. Like they look like they're going to be really, really good bookends, and they're pretty deep at the position too. So like the edge rushers look really good. I'm pretty, I'm pretty high on Jaden Rios. I think he's going to be pretty legit. I was just seeing him the other day at the press conference, and I was like, this man, his arms are long. He got long arms. He barely needs to like bend his back to scratch his knees. And I don't know, like DBs, I'm pretty big fan of long arms. But otherwise,
Let me ask you: are you a fan of watching grown men work out? Because I think that's part of the job is watching dudes lift weights.
This is my take that Andrew is
mm,
recycling.
am I a fan of watching grown men work out? It intrigues me. I'm just
I'm
like,
intrigued as well. There's no shame in being intrigued. I don't
yeah.
mind.
I just
I'll
think
be
it's
at the gym
funny that
sometimes.
like
I'm just like,
our job sometimes is to watch these guys work out and like be like analytical. Like, I don't know. That was weird, left to right. North and south, pretty good. Right to left, not too
yeah,
good.
Like talk about the scouting report Caleb's writing right now in the preseason. He can scratch his knees without bending his back. That's huge for the Tech State defense.
he's catch radius or I don't know, defensive radius. It's a big deal. It's a big
It
deal.
is a
You get
big
your
deal.
get your arm in there, deflect pass. I think
I
it's
don't
big.
disagree. I'm not making fun of you.
Yeah,
I
But
agree.
I'm the
I
bad
want
guy if
yeah.
I go back home to my, Christmas party or something back in the valley, and there's a kid that's like, "Oh man, I want to play D1 sports." And I look at his dad, look at his ankles, and go, I don't know, man.
I thought Jacob was going to be, but I'm the bad guy for going to a Christmas party hooking up with.
I already apologized for that one.
You did.
I
Whoa.
already apologized for that.
What was I talking about? Oh, defense, right. Um, I'm a little bit concerned about the interior of the defensive line. I think that's the one, and the linebackers, because it's just like I have no idea how good the linebackers
And the
are.
secondary.
Yeah,
And
the
the
linebacker core
secondary,
specifically, because I hung out
yeah.
with Brian, because we're still friends with Brian to this day, and even Brian Holloway, we're super tight with him too. But I feel like I know
Mhm.
nobody on the linebacker position group anymore.
It's Traylon Payne. He's the only one who played like meaningful snaps at linebacker the next year and last year, and just a bunch of transfers. And Michael Budin, can't say his last name.
Budin,
Budin.
the guy
I'll
out
get
of
it one day.
Buda Hayes, right? That's where he went to high
Y-
school.
Yeah, he played DB last year, and he's a linebacker this year.
Yeah, see,
And
that's not good,
yeah,
I would say.
like I see the vision though, right? Because linebackers
Like
have been
cover
getting lighter.
five?
Like
I
if
don't
Bobby
well, like
Crosby made that same move, I would have less like qualms. But
yeah,
I don't know. I always thought Michael was like a little bit more lengthy, which is why I wanted him on the outside.
yeah.
The tough
It's
I was going to say the tough part about college football right now is that there's no definitive identity for any of these offenses per conference. Like if everybody in the Sun Belt threw the ball, like in the old Big 12, yeah, I want five wideouts or five corners on
mhm,
the field. But now that like you play a team that runs the ball smash mouth football, then the next week you play a team that airs it out, then the next week you play a team that plays like Air Force type offense. Like you're just in a tough spot like week to week,
mhm.
and I don't think Texas State really has the personnel to do any sort of smash mouth football.
Michael, by the way, is listed at 6'4", 235.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
That's that's some. I don't know.
Some cap.
That's I mean, if he's like 6'3", 230, that plays though.
They got
If he's
rocks in his
like
pockets.
yeah. If he's like 6'3", 230, that does play at linebacker. And I think if he is like, I don't know, seems like he could be pretty good. But like linebacking wise, and then like the interior, because they just lost so many guys on the interior, and they were like good. So the run D feels a little bit like suspect, maybe, but you don't really know. I think honestly, the corners might be okay. Might be okay. I'm not 100% sure, but like I'm a little bit higher on the corners than like the interior. I think my ranking would be like edge, you're set. Corners, it's like seems decent, but remains to be seen. And then like safety, I think you're good. And then Linebacker, you're like, and then defensive interior, like, eh. I think their path is like if their defense just doesn't end up being good, just like time. I don't know.
That's why, like,
I would say because they play up tempo, right? So you don't really stall, like you don't really stall like that.
yeah,
So that
No, you're
doesn't
back
really
on the field a
work.
lot.
these guys
Yeah,
stall with
exactly.
injury timeouts.
Yeah.
Well, you can't even do that anymore.
No.
Yeah. Well,
No.
that
Yeah.
So my point stands. I said in year one, I was like, if GJ Kenny and Mac Leftwich want to come in here and throw the ball 1,000 times, they're not going to average 35 points per game, and they average 35 and a half points per game. So if they do that again this year, they're just go like, hey, we're going to average 37, 35 points per game. They're going to win a lot of games. Maybe not 8 games, but they'll win some games just putting the ball in the end zone.
they need to have
Hmm.
a defense that can stop people on third downs. Like that was their
Yeah.
biggest thing last year.
So Oklahoma did this, and Caleb, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think Oklahoma a couple years ago it was the Baker Mayfield era. They didn't
Hmm.
have a defense at all. They essentially were like, we want one stop a game and we'll win games. Like if you give us one stop, we'll win football games. And they went to the semifinals. Texas State doesn't have a defense that I would trust like that, and they don't have an offense I would trust like that. But I think that's kind of like the brand of football that they will be playing. Give us one stop, get us the ball back one time, and we'll try to win these games.
Yeah, they had no real
Yeah.
takeaways on defense too last year. Now that I'm thinking about it, no picks really. A
A lot of
couple
fumbles.
some fumble
Yeah.
recoveries. That was a really solid linebacking core still. Yet to
Yeah.
win, I guess.
They did talk about that, like trying to focus a little bit more on like getting interceptions in particular. And like they say it's not luck, but I do believe in the idea that turnover luck is a thing. Some years like good, and then some years it's just bad. And last year wasn't that great, so maybe this year, you find yourself in the situation you do come up with the ball. So
Seven and a
like you get a
half,
few,
7.5 takeaways this year is my over under.
yeah, I think that's a good line.
I will say, and Caleb has seen this definitely more times than me, but anytime our defense is playing our offense, they are taking the ball away a lot more. But that's again
I
like
thought
two-hand touch football, but still.
we were there was a pick six at that practice we were both at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was like one of the first balls that they threw that day.
yeah, yeah.
And keep in
That was
mind, me and
interesting.
Caleb are really only seeing this team like 10-minute like increment slots, like at a time that they'll like shove us out there. We'll see them like play catch and then we get out. But
Okay, hey, don't forget the stretching.
oh boy, yeah. I can't wait.
Dude, that stretching is crazy.
Give us
TV
a scouting
people,
report on stretching, Caleb.
that guy can touch his legs without bending his knee.
That guy needs to bend his back to touch his toes. Yes, indeed. I don't know, man. The stretching is something. They be flexible. They be flexible. That's it. That's my scouting report. But yeah, that's kind of it.
If you
Also,
had to do a prediction,
mm,
what would it be?
for what?
Like for you, let's do this. I want a record prediction, and I want a player prop type of prediction.
This is gonna sound really silly. I don't really gamble, so I don't actually really know what a player prop is.
Yeah, that's what that guy from Oklahoma said too.
I don't
Don't
really
check my
gamble
Venmo.
like that. Okay.
Don't check my Venmo. I don't gamble like that. I don't gamble at all. I don't think I've gambled a single penny in my entire life.
You are the best of us, Caleb. I'm gonna let you know that right now.
I'm just
I
really
would.
frugal.
All right, let's do this. Brad Jackson touchdowns 14 and a half. Are you taking over? So that means he throws more than 14 touchdowns, or are you taking under, which means he probably doesn't start every game this year?
I'm taking the over, and I mean we don't even know if he's the starter. But if he was the starter, hypothetically, we don't know. Could be anyone. Could be Keldrick Luster. Could be Holden Gurn. Could be Nate Yarnell. You don't know. But I don't know.
I
I would
think
take the over.
I think if it's just the first 3 weeks, he has more touchdowns on the ground than he does in the air.
Wow, which would be how many?
Um,
For the first 3 weeks?
the first 3 weeks, at least 4.
You think he's gonna have 4 rushing touchdowns in the first 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Not a shot.
I
I
would
don't.
I
I
would
don't think
say
that'll happen.
I
I
would
think
say
so.
3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns.
3 rushing touchdowns. So you're in your
You
mind.
remember how
He
many
is the
times they used him last year on the ground?
so. But you're saying in the red zone, you're not giving the ball to Lincoln Perry. You're not giving the ball to any of the running backs. You're running it with BJ.
Bro, this is GJ Kinney 3D chess. That's what you would expect, wouldn't it?
Now I'd expect a tight end play.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
true.
in like if they're as like explosive offensively as like we think they might be, I think it's fairly reasonable, honestly. You know, 1 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown per game, 1 passing touchdown per game. I think
Especially
that's fine.
given those first 3 games. Eastern
Yeah.
Michigan, that feels almost like a gimme at this point. I hope I don't get bit on
Aggregated.
that, basically. The second one, UTSA, we talked about the narrative that Brad Jackson's a San Antonian. A lie, because he grew up in the Houston area, but
Yeah.
also he only played 1 year at Reagan. But that will be the thing built up over the course of the first 2 weeks of the
Hmm.
season. And then week 3 at Arizona State, we get in desperation mode. Yeah, we're probably just going to end up feeding the running backs. But what if we didn't?
Or you just,
But what if
But what
we
if we
if you
didn't?
get into desperation mode, you're throwing the ball all over the field.
Yeah,
And
that's
you
true.
might have like a few garbage time touchdowns. Like that's just I think
If we're
I
2 and
think
0,
six.
but we start trailing at Arizona State, GJ Kinney's going to throw the sink at everything. We're
You
the
think
entire
so?
playbook's coming out. Yeah, to protect the record and to come out with a win
But he didn't do
over
that
your
against.
arch
Hold on.
nemesis,
Hold on.
Kenny
Hold on. Hold on. Hold
Dillingham.
on. I'm zagging hard here. He didn't do that against Sam Houston State. So why would he do it against Arizona State? You think
I
he learned a lesson last year?
I'm just telling you, Dexter McCoy lost the Sam Houston State game. He also lost the ULL game when he went against Colton McWilliams, the Cowboy himself.
By the way, throw the photo up of Colton right here with the tan lines. Shout out to Colton.
That
I
was
don't know
crazy.
what
When
I
that
don't know
video
what
That's
you're
came
pretty
doing.
across my
incredible.
timeline yesterday,
Truly remarkable individual. Like I don't. There's not enough words in the English language to describe Colton McWilliams. I love that man.
He's
if
he
you
scared me
guys
the other day. He walked into the room clean shaven.
You know what that means?
No.
That means somebody, maybe a bartender, maybe a barmaid, maybe a bouncer, somebody was like, I like a clean shaven man. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to shave my face. That's what
can you,
that means.
can you do your best Colton impression of that one?
Of a clean shaven face,
Yeah.
clean shaven Colton. Well, you know, I just can't. I can't do it. I used to have a really good Colton. I used to be able to pull
Oh,
a
yeah?
really
In
good
baseball
Colton out.
season, you were crushing Colton.
Oh, I was crushing Colton. I can't do it now. We need to have him on the show more. I need to. Once I hear his voice, I can get it going, but I can't do it dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out of practice. You
You
gotta
are out of practice.
do
You've
some more
been, you've
work
been
on
busy
that.
radio
Yeah.
magnate stuff, buddy.
Dude, I know. That's the problem. I wish I could do. I'll tell you, if I could do a Colton McWilliams drop of the hat, any other podcast that may or may not exist in this world wouldn't have a shot because that's all we would do. We would just do Colton McWilliams impressions for
Here,
45
okay,
minutes.
I got an idea for you, all right? You practice your Colt McWilliams. You do a Jacob, you do a oh, like hey, Andrew wasn't able to be here today, but we do have Colton on, and it's just Andrew, but he's doing this Colton McWilliams impression the entire
Impression for
podcast.
45 minutes. Don't watch the YouTube video, just audio.
Hmm. See how many people actually understand that it's not Colton.
I would say anybody who
It
looks at
probably
me,
get caught. Yeah,
people are like,
yeah.
damn, Colton put on like 75 to 105 pounds. Like, that's crazy.
I really want to say this is a 9-win team, but knowing what I know right now at this moment in time, I can't say that in good faith.
I'd agree with you. I would say, um, optimistically would be 8-4. I will lean optimistic somehow. I think I will go 8-4 simply because I do think that if Brad Jackson starts, he is going to be a very good quarterback. Like just from everything I know about him, from talking to his old coaches, to talking to, a few other people, like he's going to be good,
Sources.
in my opinion. Yeah, sources. Sometimes I
Sources.
forget I have those. But yeah, I really do think Brad's going to be good, and I think if he is, that's an 8-4 team at the very least. You get by with the defense, and if Brad's going to be decent, I don't think he's going to be like super great out the gate, but I think he's going to just keep getting better as the season goes on. Like,
Astrologically, what do we know about Brad Jackson?
I don't know much about Brad Jackson astrologically. I will say if he knows anything more than his son, I'd be worried.
So let's talk gambling real quick because we mentioned a little earlier, but I do want to get into this because I did think it was like the college football story of the week. Um, your Venmo requests, your Venmo purchases. Jacob, Caleb, either one of you can have this one. Do you actually put what it is on there? Like,
Sometimes.
do you ever do the jokey joke like, "Hey, this is for an 8 ball" or something like that, or is it? Oh, okay.
Definitely.
So you're nodding your head, yes. Okay.
Definitely, yeah.
I
I'll
don't.
do an emoji. I'll do an emoji.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
But what's the emoji for degenerate gambling? Because that appears to be what the problem was.
Casino chips,
Casino chips,
slot machines,
Yeah.
little cards.
What? Let me do this real quick. Let me just
Let me look at my
let's see
Venmo
here.
history. By the way,
Let's
I
see.
did look up
Yeah.
all Texas State players in the Venmo category.
Anything good?
Bo Sparks is buying a lot of pizza.
Laza, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
All right,
Let's think
all
about
right.
this, folks. Let's put 2 and 2 together here. You know, did Jacob Rodriguez, capital J Jakey, did he accidentally break the biggest story? Possibly. Who knows? Or maybe Bo
Could be.
Sparks, who's supposed to be an athlete, who's supposed to be the fastest guy on the team, is putting down more pizzas than he is picking up dumbbells. Let's get into it. Let's figure it
Or
out.
maybe, or
It's crazy
maybe
that this is
pizza
open
is what
source.
makes him fast.
Well, you know, he just got that Gumby's deal with Lincoln.
I'll tell you,
I know
Gumby's
this guy
sent me to the
hates him,
bathroom.
bro.
Gumby's made me run fast. I'll tell you that right now. Ran through me real fast too. We're not going to
There
get
is
that
a
sponsorship.
We're never going to
There
use
is a slot machine emoji on Venmo,
Yeah.
There it
which
is.
I am not gambling, but I don't know if that actually showed.
You just show his Venmo. You got to blur that one out. You got to blur that one out.
Oh,
This guy, he accidentally showed what his Venmo.
Caleb just doxed himself.
You got to cut that one.
actually, I don't think you could actually see what my Venmo was, but you could see what my friend's Venmo was. So just
Oh,
don't keep
there
that
you
in
go.
there.
Yeah, there you go. That's so
Yeah, don't
funny.
keep that in there. Whoopsie.
It's okay. I got you.
But yeah.
Like we just had our fantasy
But
dudes, so I'm just looking at all
yeah.
my friends paying me money. And
I
only
gotta
a
pay
few of
that,
them, only a few of them used an emoji. You know,
Oops.
it's kind of hit or
Yeah,
miss.
I think I've been pretty good about, well, all of my Venmo transactions are private. I have no idea why you would make your Venmo transactions public.
If
Like-
Texas State got a gambling sponsorship and a guy gambled on games, how upset would you be? Or let me rephrase that. How surprised would you be?
If they gambled on sports with a gambling sponsorship,
Yeah.
how surprised I'd be, I would not be very surprised.
That's
I
why
mean, UT had something like that like last year, and they didn't even have a gambling sponsorship. They didn't name the player, but
my thought has always been like, if you're gonna put all this gambling just in there, I don't necessarily mind a college football player gambling on a non-football sport. Like if they're gambling on women's tennis, ping pong, baseball, like I don't really care that much. I just don't want you gambling on college athletics. I don't want you gambling on the NFL. Those are the only two sports I don't want you gambling on. And then I don't really care about anything else. Like you gamble on Curry's threes or Spurs wins. Like that doesn't really bother me all that much. It's when it's college sports that you are participating in and the NFL. That would be my only problem.
yeah, exactly. Just don't gamble on like football. Just don't. Just don't do it.
These are just Venmo transactions that I'm scrolling through, right? So these are
Yeah.
just all guys I know from college, from fraternities, or like just like life or like party scene guys. Let's get naked with it. Rent ski, silver necklace, plug, parentheses, electricity. Like this is how people use Venmo. It's fun. Some guys gambling with Venmo?
Let me
I
ask
think
you,
there are easy ways to send your bookie money, though.
Yeah. PayPal.
But
What about Zelle? That's like peer
dude, just
Whoa.
use Zelle, man.
Now
Just
hold
use
on a
Zelle.
second. Hold on. Let's talk about that. Why would my bookie be using Zelle, Jacob?
What do you mean? It's from your account straight
Yeah.
to their account.
Yeah.
There's some racist undertones there. That's all I'm gonna say.
What do you mean?
Whoa.
Now I'm just saying.
What? Zelle is used by a broad spectrum of banks, first of all.
Ref. Ref, do
You're
something.
a white guy pointing that out. I'm a brown guy saying it's happening.
He's outnumbered.
I work on a black talk radio station now, Jacob.
I have black
very
friends
much.
too.
I'm very much. I didn't say they were my friends. I'm very much part of the culture.
Here, at least they're my friends. They're nothing to you.
Coworkers.
That's less than nothing. I have some coworkers that would not help if we were on the Titanic.
That is such a good point.
You know, that's the thing. Is like some of these people are just like guys that you see online. Other people are your friends. Some people are just your coworkers. You got nothing in common except we work at the same place, buddy.
Well, I'll tell you, we're friends here, Caleb. Even if you were, kind of a meanie pants to me at the beginning, well, I'm ready to, bury the hatchet because you were one of my favorite guests to have on the pod. This is a lot of fun.
Good stuff.
Because I'm wrapping the pod up.
Oh no, I thought it was like I'm just never gonna be it anymore.
Are you kidding me? No, you're gonna be on a ton. You don't know it yet.
He sent a henchman out to put a hit on you.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, don't check my Venmo.
All right, thanks for squaring, guys.
We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.